una bomba para nuestras comunidades. Esta ley destruye familias, esta ley separa padres de hijos, esta ley separa hijos de padres y deja a niños huérfanos. Es por eso que como comunidad nosotros no podemos estar quietos, no podemos estar dormidos ante una ley abusiva que nos trata de imponer este gobierno, que nos trata de imponer un magnate. No podemos estar dormidos porque debemos de defender nuestras comunidades con toda nuestra fuerza, porque nuestros hijos, las futuras generaciones de este país, dependen de lo que nosotros hagamos por ellos. No podemos estar en nuestras casas, no podemos estar tranquilos y esperar que las cosas sucedan sin que nosotros hayamos hecho algo. Como familias inmigrantes, como familias que hemos venido a servir a este país, que hemos venido a trabajar honradamente a este país, nos debemos a que nosotros estemos siempre unidos. Gracias a todas las organizaciones que se han hecho presente a este lugar. Gracias a todos aquellos que tienen la conciencia para venir a este lugar y rechazar esta ley. Gracias a todas las ciudades como San Antonio que se han manifestado en contra de esta ley. Gracias a aquellos que van a seguir demandando esta ley. Esta ley va a llegar hasta los tribunales. Esta ley va a llegar hasta el departamento, hasta la Suprema Corte, porque esta ley no va a ser implementada en ninguno de los counties de Texas. Esta ley no será implementada. Esta ley no será apoyada, porque es una ley racista. Racista. Porque la policía está aquí para defender nuestras comunidades. La policía está aquí para ayudar a la comunidad. La policía no tiene la voz, no tiene el poder para solicitar papeles. No, ningún humano es ilegal. Ningún humano es ilegal. Ningún humano es ilegal. Nadie es ilegal.
Nadie.
Todos somos una sola familia. Todos somos una sola familia. We are one family. Ahora, de la manera más atenta yo les pido que sigamos luchando. De la manera más atenta yo les pido que sigamos uniendo fuerzas. Y yo quiero decir en este día, no al racismo, no al odio, no a la separación de familias, no a las divisiones, no somos servidores de un magnate, nosotros servimos a nuestra gente y al pueblo. Muchas gracias y gracias por estar aquí a todos.
We're fortunate to have our brothers and sisters from the Society of Native Nations here. I want to invite Yolanda Bluehorse up. She's actually going to speak for the Society of Native Nations.
Stand her up.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's good to see you all out here, and I hope there's more to come. If not, as these people are walking out this door who are not educated on why or what's going on here, they will be after they see you guys. One thing, as an indigenous person, my name is Yolanda Bluehorse. I'm originally from South Dakota. I'm a member of the Rosebud Sioux tribe. One of the things when I first started seeing this come out on the news is I had to think, wait a minute, who are they calling immigrants? Who are they pointing a finger at? Because I have to stop and think, you know, when my people agreed to the United States government to stop killing the Europeans and the colonists, we should have said, no, you show us your card. You show us your card before you walk on my land. And what the other thing is, this whole continent, this entire continent, from North America to South America, were here first too. Her people, your people. You were all here first. Your ancestors walked this land at some given point in time, whether it be here in Texas, up north, the East Coast, West Coast, South America. There are some indigenous tribes that actually made their way down there. That was part of the land that they walked on. So who are they calling immigrants? This also opens up a horrible, horrible thing towards racial profiling. You know, I just welcome the day that one person pulls me over because I got brown skin, and I will not have the fear in me to tell them I was here first. My grandparents were here first. My ancestors walked here first. So no, I won't have it. I'm here today to show my sister here and to every other indigenous person of North and South America that we were here first.
Julio.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julio Acosta. I'm a volunteer with Faith in Texas. Faith in Texas is a multi-ethnic, multi-faith organization that works on social justice issues, criminal justice, predatory lending, immigration, and a number of other issues. But we just wanted to be here in solidarity with them. And we just wanted to thank each and every one of you because by the act of being here, you are already saying a lot. And I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here. The other thing I wanted to suggest is here, definitely to get connected to BASTA, to Carnalismo, to North Texas Dream Team, to the AFL-CIO, to the National Laborers Organizing Network, to Jobs for Justice, to Cosecha, to the Society of Native Nations. My suggestion is each of you try to get connected to the different organizations that are here because it's important for us to be here, but it's also important for us to continue the fight. Not only by liking and sharing on Facebook, but like also by helping in whatever way we can. I always say the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. Many of us don't have treasure, but we have a little bit of time and a little bit of talent. Many of us don't have time, so we have treasure and we have talent. So I just want to recommend or advocate or suggest to everybody to find a way to help. And again, just thank you so much for being here. And if anybody has any questions, I suggest you approach the people or approach me about anything. Just thank you all so much, and thank you so much.
So one of the reasons that we're here is because of our generation, our future generation. What's going to happen with our future generation is that they're seeing these police officers take away their parents, their father, their mother, and what's going to happen with them? They're legal here. Those kids are legal here. They're going to grow up. This is going to come full circle, okay? Full circle. And I just want to warn the police officers that when we do have our children grow up and take office and take positions like council seats, I mean, that's what's going to hurt them. They're going to be able to see what actually came full circle. Another thing is, you know, we're keeping track of all these people that are in office that are for this SB4 law. We're keeping track of them because we're not going to vote them in again. Not on my watch. Woo!
Hi everyone. First of all, I just want to say thank you. My name is Lillian Prado Carrillo. I'm an educator here in Denton. I was raised here. I've been here since I was 4 years old. And I'm getting a little emotional. My dad and I used to clean these offices when I was a kid. I was the first person in my family to graduate high school. I was the first person in my family to go to college. There was a DREAM Act when I was in high school. I graduated in '98, so I was right before it, and I thank God that that's available now. I want to thank all of you guys here because I really think that it's going to help us with unity, and it's not just the people that this is affecting. I have my citizenship now, but this is still something that worries me. I still have family. I still have people that I care for, the kids that I teach now. This is something that we have children coming into elementary schools right here in Denton saying, my parents were going to take my life. They're not home. And these were people that weren't necessarily breaking the law. old, and my dad made a decision to bring our family here because there was no opportunity in my country, in Guatemala, because we were trying to leave a country that was poor with famine, and because they had just gone through a 30-year-long civil war. There was no choice. People say, well, why don't you do it the right way? We tried. We tried. For 20 years I waited for my residency. For 20 years I waited and I was illegal, and I was still scared as a child. No child should have to go through that. I ask you guys for solidarity, and I ask you please from the bottom of your heart, educate people. We are trying to do things the right way. This is a broken immigration system. That is where it needs to start. There needs to be a pathway for citizenship, for legal residency, for people that are here trying to do the right thing. I've been so fortunate in Denton, and that's why I'm here to speak, and I'm going to try to get on that list to talk tonight, to talk to City Council, because I know that there's good people here in Denton, educators who changed my life, educators who poured into me, and who now I have the responsibility to do the same for other people as well. And so I thank you guys. I hope that you will educate your families, that you will educate your friends, that when you see a person, you don't look just at the brown color of their skin. I'm going to tell you right now, my family is all here legally, but I still have to warn my high school age sons, so whenever they go and if they get pulled over, I have to tell them how to put their hands on a steering wheel, how to not act rapidly, and why? Because of the color of their skin, even though they were born here. That is not right. No one should be scared. These policemen are here to serve us, and we love them, and we applaud them, and we want them to be available to us, right? We don't want them to have to be put in a position. And just because one person doesn't believe, or one police officer, I also don't want them to get punished because they have a good heart, because they have no bias in their heart. I don't want them to be in a position where they're going to get punished for not enforcing immigration laws when that is not their job.
Right.
That is not their job. Have all your friends tell them to come out here. We need more bodies in Denton. I will also tell you, Denton says this is a conservative town. It's not all Caucasian. More than 30% of our students, K through 12, are now Hispanic. Led students, they need our representation. We need to stay united. So thank you so much. No hate.
Do we have somebody here from Denton Indivisible?
That'd be great. Thank you.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming out. Usually at these things, I don't have much to add except for my perspective as a teacher, so I want to speak about that. I don't want to take full credit for this statement. I actually heard this from the congressman who's running for Senate, Mr. Beto O'Rourke. But he talked about how we're living in a time where children are asking themselves, they're asking their peers, and they're asking their parents whether this country even wants them. And that's not something that's new, but that's something that even as myself, who was an undocumented immigrant and has now become a citizen, that's something that I didn't even think about. And so I felt very privileged to never have felt that. So for what it's worth, I must have been in a loving community where I didn't feel that. But I know that that is not necessarily the case for a huge swath of our children. Black, brown, you name it. And so today, I just want to bring attention to people who want to propagate these types of policies. How can you support these in the face of children who really, at the end of the day, you are telling them, we do not want you. Children who had no choice in being here, who were either brought here or who were born here, but look to some of the people who propagate these policies like they shouldn't be here. And that to me is something that is going to take, a generation or two to repair. Because as these young folks grow up, that's not going to go away. That feeling is not going to go away. When you look in the mirror and you realize that there's an entire population of people who would not want nothing more than for you to just be out of sight, out of mind. And so, I urge parents, educators, anyone in the education system to do whatever they can to combat not just the political policies, but also the cultural damage that this is bringing. Because this is not going to go away if we win one lawsuit. This is going to take a generation or two to repair. And I feel so heartbroken for my students who I'm going to see on Thursday. But we're going to have this talk, and I want to make sure that they know that they have a safe place in me, and they have a safe place in my classroom. And I want to make sure that Denton and any other major city also becomes a safe place. So thank you for coming out. Please keep supporting. Please come out. People since Saturday in Charlottesville have said, what can I do? The first thing you do is show up. So thank you.
Thank you. Now I want to invite Eric. If Eric can come up and say a few words, please.
All right, thanks, Deborah. All right. Try to stay on script because I usually go all over the place. So today's the 5th anniversary of when applications first became available for deferred action for childhood arrivals, otherwise known as DACA program. Over the past 5 years, dreamers like me have contributed billions of dollars to the United States economy by bringing our skills and talents to the American workforce, helping to create jobs and raise wages for native-born workers along the way. I'm strengthened and emboldened by not only dreamers who came out of the shadows 5 years ago, but also by those who have remained in the fight for social justice, most, if not all, of their entire lives. White supremacy politicians, on the other hand, want to end DACA. They want to deport me and anyone who looks like me. That's why today events are going on all across the country to defend DACA, TPS, and the immigrant youth. With the passing of Texas Senate Bill 4, SB4, thousands of community members lifted their voices inside the Capitol Hill and throughout the state, successfully demanding their local leadership to stand up and protect fellow Texans, as witnessed already in Austin, Dallas, El Cenizo, out of all places, Houston, and San Antonio. It is not difficult to imagine the detrimental effects this law will have. Survivors of assault would not feel inclined to report their attacker and further endanger others. An increase in health disparity in all immigrants and refugees and their communities. An increase in school and job absences. SB4's so-called sanctuary cities nomenclature suggests it's a statute designed solely to ban cities and counties from implementing policies that undermine federal immigration laws. However, we know this not to be true. You see, this is an anti-immigrant, show-me-your-papers law. Despite strong opposition from many sheriffs that have spoken out against it, officers, sheriffs, and campus law enforcement are now encouraged by this unfunded state mandate to act on behalf of the federal government. Texas police cannot legally stop someone solely because they suspect them of being undocumented. However, it is very clear our communities will be further criminalized. Our current federal and state administrations have emboldened racist agendas and brought political division to an all-time high, all at the cost of Texas immigrant families and people of color's dignity and ability to thrive in a place they call home. A recent study by Southern Poverty Law Center found a rise in hate groups from 892 in 2015 to 917 in just this past year. 55 of these groups identified here in Texas. You see, bigotry from all faculties of society is encouraged by hate policies drafted like SB4, where the color of your skin is not only seen as less, but it is further criminalized. We cannot afford to stand idly in the face of hate. It is up to local government to act on behalf of vulnerable communities in order to galvanize trust that ultimately makes us safer. We are calling the city of Denton to get on the right side of history. We are calling for a growing consciousness of all ages, colors, and creeds, fueled by the need to fight for Texas that honors all families as a foundational unit of a vibrant society. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, and for as long as our collective consciousness allows, we will continue to stand up and demand a Texas that stands up for us. Thank you.
Buenas tardes a todos. Cuando vine a este país, no pensé venir a robar, no venir a robar la tierra, no venir a robar ropa, no venir a robar comida, no venir a robar nada. Lo único que pensaba era venir a trabajar. Y afortunadamente lo he hecho. He construido, ayudado a construir casas, no importa para qué familia, para qué tipo de familia. Todas las familias deben y tienen el derecho a una casa. He ayudado a construir hospitales, he ayudado a construir escuelas, he ayudado a construir hasta cárceles. La cárcel nueva de Denton es donde yo estuve trabajando aquí en Denton, también trabajando en esa cárcel. Y así, en diferentes lugares he trabajado para tener, no que pedir al gobierno nada en absoluto, porque con mi trabajo puedo ayudarme a tener lo que necesito. Pero ahora, lo que necesito, lo que quiero, lo que me gustaría, es que no hubiera separación de las familias. Es que ningún ser humano tuviera que ser calificado como ilegal, que ningún ser humano tuviera que ser discriminado por su color como el mío. Lo único que me gustaría es ver, no humanos, me gustaría ver humanidad. Humanidad en todos aquellos que nos decimos, que creemos y que pensamos en un poder superior, llámese Dios, Buda y demás nombres que le ponemos a ese poder superior. Eso es lo más agradable que me gustaría ver, sin molestarnos, sin creer que estamos aquí por pelear la tierra. Estamos en un nuevo siglo, en un nuevo milenio, en la cual ya no es posible que estemos pensando en pelear la tierra. Lo único que estamos, que debemos pensar, es en aprender a compartir la tierra. Aprender a compartir la tierra para que todos, como seres humanos con humanidad, podamos abrazar a la persona que está a nuestro lado sin temor a ser rechazados por el color de la piel, sin temor a ser rechazados porque piensen que les vamos a robar. Cuando vine aquí, lo que me sorprendió era que toda la gente se saludaba amigablemente. Me sorprendió que toda la gente incluso te abrían la puerta para que tú pasaras primero. No creo que eso se vaya olvidando, no creo que eso se vaya quedando atrás. Yo creo que con más fuerza debemos hacerlo. Cuando me vine aquí a este estado, lo que me sorprendió fue ver que la gente no se espantaba de ver a sus policías, no se espantaba de ver a unas patrullas. Y con esa ley que están por implementar o que quieren implementar, mucha gente va a tener miedo de ver a esos policías, va a tener miedo de ver a esas patrullas, porque van a pensar que vienen por ellos, o que los van a agarrar, o que los van a llevar a inmigración, simplemente por el color de la piel, simplemente porque si los llamo para que me ayuden con que algo está pasando,
cuando lleguen nada más, en vez de ayudar, van a querer detenerme. Eso es lo que no me gustaría, pensar que pudiera ocurrir con toda mi gente, con toda la comunidad, con toda la gente inmigrante, porque no nada más somos los hispanos, sabemos que hay gente inmigrante de otros países. A esa gente inmigrante de otros países que desafortunadamente no salen por miedo, es por eso que no están aquí. Pero si demostramos que podemos unirnos, si demostramos que no vamos a ceder, que no vamos a tener miedo por esa ley inhumana, por esa ley racista, podrán salir con nosotros, y también escucharemos que ellos también vinieron solamente a trabajar. Gracias.
Check. Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. We want definitely ICE out of Denton, and we want hate out of Texas. Can we do this together? ICE out of Denton and hate out of Texas. ICE out of Denton, hate out of Texas. ICE out of Denton, hate out of Texas. ICE out of Denton, hate out of Texas. And that's not, I don't think we're asking for too much. ICE has been conducting themselves as a rogue agency for quite some time. And hate out of Texas should not be complicated, right? When we say the name Heather Heyer, Heather Heyer presente. Heather Heyer
Presente.
Heather Heyer
Presente.
Let's be very clear. We are confronting today in the United States, and honestly across the globe, a battle between courage and fear. And the folks that we're confronting, the supporters of SB4, the folks that were marching with torches out in North Carolina and Charlottesville, they have only shown fear. Trump, his only weapon is fear. They want immigrants to fear the police, and they want white folks to fear brown immigrants, black immigrants. That's their only weapon. And the folks that have shown courage are the immigrants. The folks that have shown courage are the refugees that have lived through things that Trump cannot even imagine. An undocumented immigrant lives every single day of the week hardships that Trump has not lived in his entire life. And the folks that are here in Texas, working folks, need to get on the right side of history. The leadership in there, here in Denton, the leadership in Fort Worth, the leadership in Austin, the leadership in Huffines' office needs to get on the right side of history. Texas today, let's be clear, is ground zero for the fight against hateful, despicable, racist legislation. And it's not really close. Texas is leading the fight, leading the attack against Dreamers. Texas announced 18 new racist 287G jail deportation contracts, more than any other state by far. And now Texas is leading the racist charge with SB4, which is set to take effect on September 1st. So I'm with the National Day Laborer and Organizing Network. We're a network that works with a lot of poor folks, a lot of working folks across the country. Most of them immigrant, a lot of them undocumented. And we've been dealing with this stuff for a long time. A lot of us have. This isn't something new. In Arizona in 2010, they enacted SB 1070 with the same strategy that SB4 has today. The only, they call it strategy of attrition. Make people's lives miserable so that they go away. The strategy of attrition. That's Chris Kobach, right? Ooh, exactly. So that's Arizona, and then it was Alabama, and then it was Georgia and Tennessee. We fought it elsewhere, we'll fight it here. But the strategy, they try to call it a lot of anti-sanctuary, that, it is in fact, they exacerbate the crisis of racial profiling that we're facing in this country, of police brutality. We know those are crises, and we don't need extra excuses for why people can get pulled over and harassed. But ultimately, the number one goal, objective of SB4, just like SB 10 before that in Arizona, and just like HB 56 in Alabama, is fear. Right? And we need to be very clear that in this battle between courage and fear, our communities are on the right side of history, and we need our officials to show a fraction of the courage that immigrants and refugees and all working people show on a daily basis to make ends meet for their families. So we all here, we're very watchful about the litigation. We're very watchful about coming elections, right? There's a lot of work to be done. But we don't have to wait for the courts, and we don't have to wait for the next election to speak up against white supremacy, for goodness sake, to speak up when there's literal Nazis marching in the streets. We don't have to wait when they're enacting legislation that makes every single person of color, every single person that speaks different or looks different, suspect. We don't have to wait until the courts tell us that that's wrong. We know that's wrong. And our local officials, they know it's wrong. Whether they have the courage to say it is something else. And so we're here today to let them know that we can't wait for the courts. We can't wait for the next election. The community will take the leadership now, and it's up to them whether they're going to stand with the community here in Denton, with the people here in Denton, on the right side of history here in Denton, or are they going to stand with the forces of hate? Are they going to stand with Trump-inspired pieces of hate legislation? That's the dilemma that they're confronting today here in Denton. Today we know Texas is ground zero for our fight against hate and against fear. And we know Denton, right now, that's where the fight is today, and that's why we're here. So we're here in Denton today because the fight is local, and we're going to see everybody here over the next couple days because we're building power. When people show up, there's only 5 of us going, there's only 10 of us going, there's only 20 of us going. It doesn't matter. There's thousands of us across Texas, tens and hundreds of thousands across Texas and across the country. And we're building, slowly, but we're building. And those that stand on the wrong side of history, that will become clear as time goes on. And September 1st, we know that we're going to be taking action with a lot of folks here in Dallas and in several cities across Texas. September 2nd, we'll be at the Unity March in Austin. And of course, for the following Saturdays, we're going to be boycotting hate, boycotting Huffines, cars, right there in Plano, plug, right? So basically, things are moving, the people are moving, the courage is moving, and it's only a matter of whether the folks inside these buildings are going to move with the people, are they going to stand on the side of courage, or are they going to stand on the side of hate? So we say, basta hate, basta Texas, thank you very much.
Basta.
And ICE out of Texas. ICE out of Texas.
ICE out of Texas.
Boycott what?
Boycott hate.
Let's say boycott Huffines. And it's easy to boycott a whole bunch of them, but let's just start with Huffines. Let's set an example. Boycott hate.
Boycott Huffines.
ICE out of Denton.
ICE out of Denton.
All right, thank you.
Nolan, if I can get you up here for just a second. Nolan has been our right man for a while now. Yeah.
I thought you were taller.
I wish I was. So, first off, I'd like all of the activists that helped out organizing this agreement to raise their hands. Now I'd like all of them to give everyone who came to support us a hand.
That's right.
Thank you, everyone who came. So I'm from Carrollton, Texas, which is a minority-majority city. I know that's a funny way to put it. We are the only city in the entire state of Texas with the 287G agreement with ICE. Meaning that if someone is booked into Carrollton's jail, which, by the way, tend to be people of color, much more so than people who are white, and they have issues with their immigration status, they are then subsequently deported by Carrollton Police Department. We actually transport them to the ICE detention facility in Dallas. North Texas has a long history of hating immigrant populations. We've been doing it for quite some time.
and the immigrant populations have stayed sitting in fear. But there's no more time for fear. Look at who is president right now. Talk to your neighbors, talk to your communities. Let them know that the time is now to stand up and say no more to city councils that propagate SB4, to Carrollton councils that propagate 287s, to agreements, 17 new 287G agreements. We should be traveling from city to city standing up. We shouldn't be silent, and we should be protesting. We should be taking a stand. So when people look down at you, specifically councilmen, political leaders, when people ridicule you for protesting, what was the Boston Tea Party?
Protest.
A protest. Now what would have happened if we never held the Boston Tea Party, where we damaged government property?
We would have national health care.
Yes, we would. You threw me off there. I'll tell you what, we wouldn't have America. Or America might be something else. But we don't get to see what would have happened, because we started America almost nearly directly after the Boston Tea Party. That initiated change. That initiated our freedom. But it wasn't really our freedom, was it? It was white Americans' freedom. Because consistently, since the formation of this country, people of color have been tromped on. People of color's rights have been limited. People of color's opportunities have been limited. And it's all been state-sanctioned. It's time to stand up, whether you're white, brown, or otherwise, in the name of people who have been historically oppressed. It is our duty. It is our duty to say no and stand up alongside them. Thank you, everyone, for showing up and standing up.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I'm not taller. Next time I'll wear boots.
They said you look taller. What can I say?
Yeah, it's 2 feet, basically.
So I think some people want to chant a little bit. So,
En un minuto. ¿Vale? Si quieres, yo hago así.
oh, okay.
Nomás queremos el sound de lo que...
Okay, sound.
So like, should we get together? So should we get together a little bit so we can? Okay, so. All right. So now we'll make it seem. We'll make it look good. So, what are some chants we want to do? El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. Okay. All right. So this one says, I'll do it in Spanish and then I'll do it in English. We'll do it in Spanish first. It goes, el pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. So here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. Now we're going to do Ave, escucha, estamos en la lucha. 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 Spanish or English or with okay. No fear, no pain. Up with education, down with deportation. 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 Up with education, down with deportation.
deportation. Up with education. Down with 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 deportation.
Hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go.
People are still arriving.
SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, SB4 has got to go.
Anybody know any other ones? Just going to review. English or Spanish? Anyone?
We promise to be loud no matter.
Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what America looks like.
This is what America looks like.
Show me what America looks like.
This is what America looks like.
When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our neighbors are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our students are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Good job, guys. Good job. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here.
No justice, no peace. No racist police.
No justice, no peace. No racist police.
No justice,
No peace. No racist police. No justice, no peace. No racist police. No justice, no peace. No racist police. No justice, no peace. No racist police.
Any other ones that you've heard anywhere?
Stand up, we want freedom, freedom. All those racist politicians, we don't need them.
Stand up, we want freedom, freedom. All those racist politicians, we don't need them, Stand up, we want freedom, freedom. All those racist politicians, we don't need them, Stand up, we want freedom, freedom. All those racist politicians, we don't need them, Stand up.
Good job, guys. Good job.
I'm going to ask Deborah to come up. She's got a couple things she wants to say, kind of get it a little bit riled up. I know we did little bit of momentum for her, but yeah, she's got something for them. Okay. This one? Okay. Hi everyone. First, I just want to say a little bit about myself and what brings me here. I'm a Dentonite. I've lived in Texas since 1995. I'm a granddaughter of immigrants, proud granddaughter of immigrants. I happen to be a Jewish person, so my people know a lot about what happens with, what starts with the whole show me your papers thing and what that turns into. This is personal for all of us. I happen to be a teacher at the university, and I'm kind of a city gadfly, as I've been called, involved in local politics, so I wanted to address my comments to City Council and the Mayor, who are in there right now. I think they are still in a work session. And I have a specific ask from them, I believe we all do, and that is to ask of them, really to demand of them, that they hold a work session on the subject of joining the other cities that are suing the state of Texas over the unconstitutionality of SB4. We're not asking them to start something new. We're asking them to join in. We're not asking them to put down millions of dollars like they do every day, but that's a whole other story. You know, we're asking them to stand in solidarity to join a lawsuit that's going to win, by the way. We don't know when, you know, and you know, there will be losses along the way, but at the level of the Supreme Court, it's going to win. So we are all demanding of them, asking of them, begging of them to do their job, quite honestly. To do their job and protect their people. They're public servants. They're here to serve y'all. And if standing up for your people when they're under attack is not serving your people, I don't know what is. You know, how can we get all bent out of shape arguing about, you know, who's going to fill this pothole, and not even address the big elephants in the room, like this one, which is just a basic matter of human rights. And it is up to them now. It is up to them. And they might tell us, you know what, we can't get involved. We're the city. We do city things. Y'all, you know, you go vote for who represents you in Austin. You go vote, you go push them. Well, each of us, we vote. We're voting anyway. We're writing letters. We're like a kid with a rock, a kid with a slingshot. We have power, but it's not that much compared to the power of a city council as a governmental body, and they don't realize how much power they have. At least I don't think they do, to make a difference in Austin. They are an army. If they want to mobilize and take on real leadership, and someone was earlier talking about leadership and saying that if our leaders at the city level showed just one fraction, a small fraction of the amount of bravery and courage that we see here in our immigrant communities, in our student communities, in all allies, every single day, to use power that they have. We don't have that much power. They have power. We're asking them to use it to do their job, to join these lawsuits. And so I just wanted to just tell a little story, and I'm not ratting anybody out here. I really like our mayor. He's an excellent person, very compassionate, and I'm a supporter of him. And one time, this was some years ago, at the time of the Syrian refugee crisis, remember our governor said no Syrian refugees welcome in Texas, not welcome here. And the mayor of Dallas did the right thing and came out and said, they're welcome here. And that was doing the right thing. So I wrote to City Council and the mayor and said, I wasn't asking them to spend a dime. I wasn't asking them to go, you know, hand-to-hand combat in the ring with anybody. Just write a statement saying Syrian refugees are welcome here in Texas. And I got an email from the mayor, and again, this is a good person who I believe, I'm not asking you to take my word for it, I just genuinely care, good person, I support him, he's done a lot of good things. He
he wrote back to me and he said, I'm really sorry if I get too political. Too political? Too political. And, you know, it's my own fault that I didn't respond. I just threw my hands up in the air and said a lot of unrepeatable things that, you know, spoke to my family about it. But, and this is somebody who, again, I support very much. But my point being, of course, you're in the business of politics. It's what you do. There's no such thing as too political if you're a politician. And I'm sorry, issuing a statement, a friggin' statement. My kid can write it for you. And you can just say you wrote it. Anyway, so, for crying out loud, Mayor, sorry to embarrass you. I know you're not watching now. Maybe this will get to you. Sorry I told on you. But, oh yeah, one more story about that, real quick. There was another time when I was talking to him about, you know, we have this Buc-ee's, this is a small potato compared to what we're talking about now. But we've got this Buc-ee's that's coming, and the people in the neighborhood, you know, didn't want it, and so I was talking to the mayor about this, and he was being really nice, listening and being understanding. And he said, but you know, the Buc-ee's has nowhere else to go. Like, they tried to go to Corinth, and Corinth didn't want him, and they had nowhere else to go. And he's a really sweet guy, and he has this compassion in his eyes. And I thought to myself, and again, and it's my fault for not saying anything, but I thought, wow, you feel this compassion for Buc-ee's that I wish you felt for Syrian refugees. Because they have nowhere to go either, and they're not a $1 million corporation asking for tax incentives. But anyway, that's a whole other story. My point, again, just to clarify, I'm not saying, you know, bad guys. You know, these are good guys in here, good guys and men and women in here who really care. But I think they need us, in fact, I know, they need us to remind them of what their job is. You serve the people, protect the people, join this lawsuit, or you're doing a bad job. Thank you.
I just think it would be good to have a moment of silence for the people in Charlottesville, because I know that I would have been there, and I know that many people that I know would have been there too. And I just think I thank them, because that could have been me. That could have been any one of the people that I care so much about, that care so much about others. So I would just like to take one moment of silence so that we can reflect on the lives of people that stand up for others. Many are voiceless, many are defenseless, and when those that can stand up on behalf of the voiceless and the defenseless, that's something to be proud of. And then to know that someone like us was hurt, killed, it hurts. And I'd just like to take a moment of silence, and then I'll finish it with a prayer. I recognize that there may be people here that have different faiths and different beliefs, but I will pray in the way that I believe. Father, thank you so much for everybody that is here. Thank you so much for everyone around the world that stands up for what you wish for us to stand up for. I just thank you for people that fight for what is just, that fight for what is equity, and that fight for peace, Lord. I pray that you be with their families. I pray that you be with the people that are suffering so much right now because of different things, Lord, because of different actions. I pray that you touch the hearts of the people that are filled with ignorance and hate. I know that we cannot touch their hearts, Lord, but I know that you can. And I pray that you give us wisdom and strength and courage to do what you wish us to do, so that we can show them that a life filled with hate is not a life worth living, so that we can be examples of a better life. I thank you for everybody that is here. I thank you for their families. I thank you for their loved ones, Lord. I pray that you allow us to reflect on how important and special those relationships are, Lord, because one day it will be the last day. And I just pray that everyone, when they go home tonight and go to their beds and go to sleep, I pray that they all realize how special gift they have of being able to say, I love you, Mom, I love you, Dad, I love you, sister, I love you, brother, I love you. And that they may go forward trying to be light in this world that so much needs light. I'll quote one of my favorite quotes. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Spoken by Martin Luther King Jr. And I just pray that you be with us in every aspect. I respect the different faiths that are represented, or the lack of, but I finish praying in the name that I know, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Okay, it's almost 6 o'clock. I would love for you guys to come in with us. We're not allowed to take in the signs or anything like that, but we can go show support. They can see all the red shirts. I mean, that would be something that would impact these council members. That it's just not just 3 of us going in there. So, but I do want to give some time to anybody who would want to come up and speak before we go in. I know that there's some people that that are here from other organizations that would love to say something. You're more than welcome to come up and say something if you like.
Hi, how's everybody doing? Wow, it's louder right here than I thought it would be. My name's Matt Pernetta. Here, kind of a part of Indivisible. Show our support. It's kind of a weird thing for me to be here. I'm going to tell kind of a long story, but I think we maybe have a little time. If I get too long, y'all can pull me off. So I'm a minority. I am. I've been reminded of that a lot throughout my life. I'm kind of a different case than a lot of people here, but in some ways not. I'm actually 4th generation. I might be more than that. It kind of gets hazy. There's some bastards out in the hill country that we can't track down. But I know I'm at least 4th. Growing up, I grew up in the hill country in a small town. And the fact that my family had been there forever, since the 1800s and everything, didn't really matter at the time. Basically, on a regular basis, and when I say regular basis, every weekend I would get pulled over. So I know what it's like to be thrown up against the back of a car because my last name ends in a vowel. It's a really familiar feeling. On one level, it was kind of cool because it happened every weekend. I knew once it happened, I was free to do whatever I wanted after that because it was out of the way. But it really didn't feel good. And no matter what I did, I would have to put up with that. Basically, I'd be working in the Dairy Queen, and there were some sheriff's deputies who would come in. Now, mind you, when I was hassled, it wasn't by INS or anything like that. It wasn't federal agents or stuff. It was people just looking for a reason to hassle me, and they knew the answers to the questions all the time. They would come in, and they'd call me Juan or Jose, which is really odd because I don't think that sound actually naturally occurs in Spanish. I think maybe it's an Arabic thing, I don't know. But I know there's not a lot of in Spanish. Didn't matter, I was Juan or Jose, even though I had a name tag that said Matt, which is like only 3 letters. You don't have to read a lot to get it, it's a single syllable. And even though, one of their sons actually was a fry cook in the Dairy Queen too, they knew exactly who I was. But still, when I walk out, at some point, one of them wanted to ask me for my papers. They never asked me for my driver's license, because they knew I had it. And there's something a little bit more insulting about asking me for my papers which is fine. After a while, just for fun, I had a piece of paper in my back pocket. I pull out. It had 2 words on it. They didn't like that. Fine, you can keep it. I can make copies. But that was the way things were. So I have some experience being hassled, being asked for my papers, even though I technically don't have any. And when I see SB4, when I hear what's going on, when I hear what's going to be implemented, I know what it means. I know that it means that, great, now I'm going to have to do this, now my son's going to have to do this. Why? I don't know. Because we know what SB4 is, right? SB4 is an attempt to fulfill a failed campaign promise by Donald Trump to deport a bunch of people that was never really a serious campaign promise. He had no plan to implement it, and he had no way to pay for it. So that cost is being pushed down to us, with help by some bigots in Austin. But it's being pushed down to us, and it's being pushed down at a cost that demands and deprives us of our ability and our local authority. It makes our police de facto or pretend ICE agents, even though they're not trained to do it, and even though they have enough to do on their own. And that's one of the things. You know what? You don't have to be a decent human being to oppose SB4. It would be nice to go around and say, hey, please don't be a racist. Hey, I know that you're validated by telling somebody to go back to where they came from, and it's a great feeling. If I could, you know what? I would do it all the time if I could. I don't feel like it because I'm not an asshole. But I'm sure there are people who have tough lives and hard days, and they look forward to that. They look forward to being a racist asshole. And you know what? I'm not asking them to quit that. They can still keep that. They can keep their racism. But one of the things they ought to think about is the fact that what SB4 is actually doing is robbing them of their tax dollars. Because the police, when they pull somebody over, they're going to have to put them in jail. They're going to have to process them. They're going to have to feed them. They're going to have to offer them due process. That stuff isn't free. And the taxpayers have to pay for that. So if you want to be a racist, you can be a racist and you can still oppose SB4. All you have to do is not want to spend your tax dollars on this. Right? It's that simple. You can have that conversation with anybody. Be a racist, but keep your tax dollars. It's in your best interest. Very simple. Because in the end, we would like our police to continue to service their community in the way that they did before Donald Trump was elected. And we want them to continue to serve our community in the way that they did before after he's gone, which may not take too long depending on the Mueller clock. Who knows? But my point is, I oppose SB4 for very obvious reasons. It's going to fuck up my life, fuck up my son's life, fuck up the lives of a lot of people. And for the racists who still want to hassle Mexicans, it's actually illegal in Texas to racially profile. Which means that if we go into the place where we have our police pulling over people for SB4, they can't limit it to just Mexicans, because at that point they will be susceptible to a lawsuit from the ACLU when they keep track of their paperwork. So, that means along the way, they're going to have to pull over some white people and ask them for their paperwork. How do you do this? How do they find white people to pull over for their paperwork? What's a great way? I don't know. Maybe the police could kind of set up at 2 o'clock at night outside of a establishment that is frequented by white people who hate Mexicans. And hopefully those people will be fine as long as they blow less than a 1.0, or, well, yeah, 0.10. That's fine. There's blowback to everything. And I hope that everybody who supports SB4 kind of thinks about themselves, actually really thinks about themselves before they think about being a decent human being, because it's in their best interest to oppose SB4 on all counts. And hopefully somebody will pass that message along to City Council tonight to remind them of the enormous costs that not fighting SB4 will put on our community. Costs that could be much better spent on way more things. Anyway, I went on forever. Thank you guys for listening.
I just wanted to mention that we have 3 speakers. It's going to be Deborah and Eric Eric Burgos is over there taking pictures, and where's the other person? Yes. So basically, we have 3 speakers. So whenever they speak, we're going to ask that all of us stand up because we would like them to know that we stand with them. So I won't be able to communicate that in there, but whenever they speak, we'll stand up with them. All right.
After we speak, I'd like to come out and kind of regroup before we go home. You know, if there's some of you that are going to leave and not be able to attend the meeting, that's fine. But I just want you to know that us, as the Cagnalisco Brown Berets, which of course my other Brown Beret brothers and sisters were not able to attend because they work, and of course I have to leave a little early, so that's a different story. But us, the Cagnalisco Brown Berets, we're the Chicano movement. We're just like the Black Panthers, but we're for the Chicano movement. So we work with our community. So if there's any of you all that have an issue, any organization here, you can always contact us. You know, we do everything from training, tactical training, self-defense, I mean everything. And we also have pantries, we help our community. We just got done doing a back-to-school event for school supplies, where we give away almost over 300 school supplies, but with another organization. And so, you know, we're here to help you all out. So, and it's not just me. There's a lot of us, and we are everywhere from Colorado, New Mexico. We're everywhere. We're the Cagnalisco National Brown Beret. So I welcome you guys to, you know, come in and afterwards regroup with us, okay? And thank you guys for coming out and supporting. You know, there's a lot of you guys that I've never seen before, and it's nice. You know, it's really nice to see you guys out here and supporting us. Thank you.
So I guess we'll do a solidarity clap, which basically is just, you started. Solidarity clap. Go ahead. Oh, want to make an announcement?
Oh, wait.
Okay, sorry about that.
Sorry. Alright. Hi, we're part of Cosecha Denton, and we just wanted to let you guys know about a play. We wanted to let you guys know about a play. Alright, okay, cool. That we're hosting. It's called In Las Sombras, or In the Shadows. I mean, no, you're right. It's August 20th, Sunday, and there's 2 showtimes, 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock. It's at La Estrella. It's actually over there, and we invite all of you to come. We have flyers if you want. They're over there. Pick some up.
And I also have flyers for a strike that's being held on September 1st to protest SB4. We are asking that people don't go to school or work and don't spend money. We have to show them the power that we hold and come to the rally instead. It's on September 1st in Quakertown Park. I also have flyers in English and Spanish.
Alright, everybody ready to do the unity clap? Alright, so it's going to be very simple. We're going to start with the slow clap, so everybody start a slow clap. Slow clap, slow clap. Actually, we'll have our friend Ruben here lead it. Just follow what he does, slow clap. It's going to start to intensify, and then he's going to do a large, like whale clap, like that. And when he does that, you say, Asumasa. That's how it ends. Yeah, but while it's building up to that, you're rallying up, you're yelling, you're cheering and cheering on the clap, okay? All right, we're going to try it.
One more time.
right. Okay, that was just practice.
Way to go, kiddo.
Alright, so now we're going to go inside, so everybody get your stuff together.
All right, we're signing off at ODTV, and we will see you at the next event. Because of the train transportation and everything, I'm not going to stay for the speech, just like Fort Worth. I'm not going inside. I don't even live in Denton, so that wouldn't be right anyway. We'll see you guys probably in a couple of days. There is a vigil for the victims of the drive killing and at the counter protest in Charlottesville. Thank you for joining us at ODTV.